Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Aisha Mohammed, the Executive Director of the African Immigrant Support. At African Immigrant Support, we empower African immigrants to thrive in their new communities by providing culturally sensitive resources, guidance, and advocacy, from navigating legal system to accessing education to finding employment and building networks. We're here to bridge the gap between challenges and opportunities. Our mission is to foster inclusion, celebrate diversity, and ensure every African immigrant has the tools to succeed and contribute meaningfully to society. Together, we're building a stronger, more connected future for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Aisha. That's awesome. We're now going straight to the webinar, and I will be introducing Mr. Ladi Adebayo. He's going to introduce himself and he will go into the webinar directly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aisha. Thank you, Lolade. I'm not too sure whether we should just fire on. I don't know if do you want me to waffle a bit before and see whether we have more people joining, or I should just
a little introduction. Tell us who you are.
Okay. All right.
So that we know that we're in the right hands.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Ladi Adebayo. I'm a solicitor in the UK. I specialize in immigration law, do family as well. I always tell my clients that I have, when a client comes to see me, I tell them that I've been in this journey before. I came in as a student very many years back, did my law degree in the UK. I think I came many years ago. I came first, then my wife and my daughter joined me, transited from a student visa to what we used to call the highly skilled migrant program. Then from there, collected my settlements, the ILR, settlements, we used to call it ILR those days, and then to a British passport. So I've gone through all the stages. I've suffered, I've suffered refusals along the way. I remember I've even had, I've been told to leave the country within 28 days before. I've had my appeals, so I know the whole journey of an immigrant. So that's basically me. I'm a partner. I'm a senior partner at Protect Law Solicitors. We're based in Milton Keynes. HQ is in Milton Keynes. We also have an office in Richmond. We have a team of about 22 lawyers that work with us, and they're varied in their expertise. We do all sorts. We do criminal. We do personal injury, property law, leases, commercial litigation, employment law, what have you. So that's me and the law firm in a nutshell. We're a law firm, so there's always this distinction between us and immigration advisors. We're not immigration advisors. We're not OIC registered. We're proper solicitors. We're not you get some people that will say, "Are you an immigration advisor?" No, we're proper. We're a proper law firm. I'm authorized to practice law in the UK, Nigeria, and Ireland. So that's me in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We're happy to have you here. Over to you, Loladi.
Thank you very much, Ms. Aisha. Thank you, Mr. Ladi, for that introduction. That was so awesome. And now to the topic of today. We have a topic as understanding UK immigration law. So as Mr. Ladi has said, he is an expert in immigration law, and that is why we have to bring him on page today, so he can tell us more and what we need to know about immigration law, especially for those people that are just coming into the country or they're finding it difficult to navigate their way due to immigration issues. So now we'll be starting, and Mr. Ladi will be taking us for a couple of minutes and tell us what he thinks we need to know about immigration law. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think the first thing that we need to know about immigration law is that it's very dynamic. It's the most dynamic aspect of law in the UK. It changes regularly, and the Parliament has given the Secretary of State, that's the Minister for the Home Office, the power to make rules and regulations, and as he or she deems fit, without going back to the Parliament. So we call it statutory instruments. So you can just wake up one day and say, I'm increasing the salary threshold of skilled work visitors, or it might say, I'm increasing the years for settlement to 8 or 9 years. So that's the first thing that we need to know, that immigration law is very, very dynamic. You always have to keep what's the right word now? You have to keep looking and checking. You have to keep your eyes out for changes in the law. That's the first thing. So, and I always tell my clients that if an immigration rules favors you today, and you're saying, "No, let me wait till next week or next month," it might not favor you. So you grab whatever rule favors you now. So that's the first thing that I'll say about immigration law. Another thing I'll also say about immigration law is that UK border force, that's the Home Office, the UK border force, they're actually much powerful than the police. That's something people do not realize. The police cannot detain somebody I'll give you one example. The police cannot detain somebody indefinitely. But an immigration officer has the power to detain someone indefinitely, even though they're courts and all that, but they still have that power to detain indefinitely. I'll just quickly run through a couple of new rules that have come into play so that people can be up to date. So I've written some down. So I'll just quickly rush through it, and then maybe if I'll take questions about it later on. So the current rule in 2025, there was a new rule in 2025, which we now have what we call, it allows people to study for 6 months. If you want to study for 6 months or less in the UK, you are now allowed to study for 6 months or less, and you don't need a sponsor. You don't need to get a certificate of sponsorship to do that. You can actually come on a visit visa. You just come in on a visit visa, and then you can stay for 6 months. Now, this is very, 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 very important, and I'll tell you the reason why it's important. We have people who, for example, come to the UK on a visit visa, and when you fill the forms, you tell them that, look, I'm coming here for 2 weeks, I'm coming here for 3 weeks. You also tell them at the point of entry that you're coming here for 2 or 3 weeks. They record that, they put that down, and they can use that against you when you want to reapply or when you're coming in again. And then they'll say, but you told us that you were going to come in for 2 weeks and you didn't, and you stayed for longer than that. Sorry, are you saying something, Lola? I can't hear you. I'm not too sure whether you're talking. I can see your lips move. All right, okay. All right. So the reason why this is good is that, so for example, somebody's coming into the UK and he says, look, I'm coming on a visit visa, but I want to spend 5-6 months. My advice to that person is that go and get a course, go and register for a course, so that if anybody then asks you that next time, that why did you spend 6 months in the UK? Oh, I was doing this course. What course was it? This is the course. What's the name of the provider for the course? This is the name of the provider for the course. Did you make payments? Yes. Did you finish the course? Yes. So that can act like a kind of an insurance for you. The second one is that we now have what we call a short-term student visa, and this is for 11 months. And 11 months, below 11 months. If you have a course that is 11 months, not more than 11 months, from 6 months to 11 months, you can now apply for a short-term student visa. And you don't need a certificate of sponsorship to do this. You just need to make sure that the school that you are going must be an accredited provider. These are rules that came in 2025. The other one that came in December 2024 says that only students at postgraduate levels or on government-sponsored screen can bring dependents now. So students can no longer bring dependents unless you are on having a postgrad master's or a PhD, or if the government of your home state sponsored you, even if it's a 12 months course or 2 years or an undergrad, then you'll be allowed to bring your dependent. Again, in December 2024, another new rule says there's now what we call a temporary permission to stay for victims of human trafficking or slavery. So that route is now open. If you believe that you are a victim of human trafficking or slavery, you will be given between 12 months and 30 months. You will have access to public funds, work is permitted, study is also permitted, but it doesn't lead to settlement. I guess what then happens after that is that people, because we now see people coming under these visas, coming under this kind of visas, and what they then do is after the 30 months, they might then apply for asylum. The victims of domestic violence has now been extended in the sense that it's no longer if you're a partner of a citizen, a British citizen, or somebody settled in the UK, or somebody with an EEA pre-settled or a settled status, you can now apply as a victim of domestic violence, and you're given ILR settlement straight away. However, if you have a migrant, if you're a skilled work visa, for example, and you're a victim of domestic violence, they will give you a temporary visa, which is a maximum of 3 months, and then you will have to find another route to stay in the UK. Another rule that comes in now is that if you are on stock code 6135, stock code 6136, that's care workers and home carers and senior care workers, they're now allowing you they're now allowing dependent partners and children, but it's only for those sub codes 6135 and 6136. There's some conditions that are attached to it, but I think once you get a COS on that, then you're fine. The other thing is that if you're a student, you must either have completed your course of study, and I get this a lot. So people who haven't completed their course of study, they want to jump on the skilled worker visa, or they ask and say, "Oh, can my dependents jump on the skilled worker visa?" It's not possible. You have to finish your studies, and your school must give you a certificate of completion before you can switch. And I think the last one I'll just talk about with new rules is salary. And there's a lot of confusion along that. So I'll just focus on the skilled work visa and also just healthcare, because I know majority of people are on healthcare. If you have any other questions, if you're on the skilled work visa and it's not an healthcare route, maybe you can raise the questions later. Currently, the going rate, there are two going rates, 23,200 and 30,960. On renewal, you have to be on 30,960. You will only be on 23,200 if you are under 26 or you're a recent graduate. So that is very, very important. So we see people now who are coming on the skilled work visa on the healthcare category. They make an application. The employer puts down their salary as 23,200, and then the Home Office writes back and say, look, you need to make adjustments to your COS, and then puts the correct going rate, which is now 30,960, unless the person is under 26 or a recent graduate. That is when you fall under the 23,200. I think that's basically is the update currently. Thank you.